Oh,
Okay, Yijie, please start.
okay. So today me and Junbo will be demoing three UI testing tools, which are Selenium IDE, Catalan Studio, and Burpsuite Auto Login.
Hmm.
Yeah. So first Selenium IDE is a record and play tool. So uh wait okay. uh yeah. So wait, let me close this.
By the way, the Selenium open source.
Yeah, it's
Hmm.
open source.
Hmm.
I'll just create a new project and I'll use a demo website to show this. But basically you can create a test like this, and you enter the URL for the website that you want to test, and you just press this button which is start recording, and then yeah, you can perform actions on this website. And
Now, what if we input the login? We log into username and password.
yeah, so
It will record all the username and password.
yes, it will record the username and
Hmm.
password. Yeah, and if you are done with the recording, like if you just want to test the login function, then we can stop recording.
Hmm.
Name it login, and you can replay it. So because just now I started from a login
Hmm.
state, so yes, log out, and it will log in again. Yeah, so it is quite
Hmm.
a simple tool, and this can be saved. Uh,
Oh, okay. So Selenium can also support API for this record and replay.
are you referring to the
Yeah.
the
So I'm thinking about your fission projects.
oh
So once we want to interact with fission projects, so if we have these facilities, we can record all the interactions, right?
yes,
Mm.
you can record, and you can also convert it into a Python test file.
Mm.
And if we open it, you can see that this is all the actions that we perform.
Mm.
Yeah, but it's in a quite simple format. So if we want to convert this into a more complicated test case, we will have to like reorder this or make our own class or
Mm.
something. Yeah,
Okay.
and then I think that's all for Selenium IDE. Honestly, this interface provides very little. You can't even do things like take screenshots because the it's not supported here. Yeah, so this is a very minimalistic tool. But if we use the Python library format of Selenium, which is the Selenium web driver, you can support more actions, and you can take screenshots as well.
Mm.
Ah, okay, then moving
Okay.
on,
Mm.
for Catalan Studio, it's also a record and play tool. So this is
By the way, so here the question is, so we're talking about the web testing tool.
yeah.
Uh, in terms of the software testing, the main goal is that to find the vulnerabilities and the bugs as soon as possible and as many as possible. So for this case, it's just a record and replay all the testing scripts, right? So it is just
Mm,
basically the record replay is just to convert the user action into a set of the testing scripts,
yeah.
but it is still heavily relies on the manual effort. In this case, I just suggest whether there is some web testing which can automatically explore the vulnerabilities. For example, or whether we click the sequence with a sequence of actions, we may trigger bug. So
Oh,
is that a tool like this?
uh, Junbo will demo
Mm,
the Burpsuite one, which can do
mm,
the scanning as well.
okay.
So yeah,
Mm,
but anyway, I'll move on to the next
mm,
tool, which is Catalan Studio,
mm,
and this is what the interface looks like. And it's a bit more advanced because it can do a lot of things, like it can do data driven testing, and it can do like normal record and play as well,
mm,
and it can also use screenshots as the identifier for objects, but the screenshots is a bit wonky, it's not always working, so yeah.
mm,
Yeah, so if we use the same website as before, we can log in, and I'll just copy this. And then yeah, then I stop recording. That you'll convert it into a list of actions as the same as
So it
the
is
catalog.
also, this can also be exported as a Python, right?
No,
Or
for
it's not exportable.
yeah, for Catalog Studio it's not exportable. It's a very like it only works with itself kind of tool. Yeah, that's the caveat of
Mm,
this tool. Yeah,
okay.
it can and it converts like things that it finds on the web page into objects, and it will store it into an object repo. And this is the things that you interacted with. It'll be recorded as objects, and there's like this thing that is like where you can choose how you want the object to be discovered by Catalan, like either by XPath, attribute, CSS, or image. Yeah, but image will do a separate thing to be able to record it. Yeah, and if I just do a
Sorry.
simple
So
replay.
can you please repeat how to, what's the point to select methods?
Oh, in case you want to use a different format of or locator, like if you want to do a image based search, then catalog will search for the image only instead of
Search,
searching for
what I mean, what do you mean? You mean search for an element in HTML?
yeah, that's
Mm. And why do we bother to search specific elements?
um so for some projects, um there might be cases where the XPath or the attributes will change. Like maybe the developer changes the label or something, and if it changes, then you won't be able to find it anymore. So like image is an alternative way, something like that.
Mm. Mm. Yeah, Darren mentioned that it may be for those auto-generated elements. Mm. Okay, so this is also basically a record replay, but I think record replay is quite useful as the facilities, but we want to build upon such a facility to investigating more vulnerability. I think that will be very useful. Is that so? You can think about in terms of your EGS cybersecurity FYP project. Maybe we can summarize some patterns when we interact with the fish kits, so that I'm not sure whether possible. So maybe we can summarize a more abstract version of the interaction sequence. So we can using this record replay tool to work on the website. Yijie, do you think it is possible?
I think for the phishing kit one, it's a bit more realistic to use
Manual one or
like just use scripts instead of record and replay,
mm,
because I feel like the website interaction will change a lot from phishing kit to phishing kit. So
yeah. Okay, yeah. So the point is that these scripts, since we're going to test in the UI, so I think this tool is just designed for a specific website, right? Or specific I think it's designed for a specific website. And if we want to test the interaction with the users, so we want to, given the scripts, we want to fix these scripts. So each time we update a website, we want to see after a specific of user interactions, and we can have the result we expected. So we want to,
mm,
we recorded it. We recorded it because we want to reuse it, right? So there's a bunch of work to improve the web kind of test, these kind of web testings by automatically adapting the test scripts or the recorded text scripts. So when the UI has some moderate change, maybe we change the position of the button, or maybe we add a new menu, or we including a new button. So how do we adapt the test scripts, giving the new features? So that will be kind of a research questions. But in our case, we are not worried. We don't bother to see these. We want to see a more, and we basically want to find the vulnerabilities. So that means we want to, since we have already able to interact with the websites, we want to see what is the best way to interact with the web pages and websites so that we can find the vulnerabilities and the bugs as soon as possible.
Yeah, the tools that I showed are not really meant for scanning vulnerabilities. It's just UI or test automation.
Hey, is Junbo there? Hello, Junbo.
Yes, hi.
So when you are investigating some vulnerabilities in your company, is that possible? There's a case that you record all your process to find the vulnerability. Supposing that finding the vulnerabilities only need the interaction with the web pages. So there's supposed to be a way to record everything to replicate the process of finding the vulnerabilities.
Actually, I'm not quite getting it because what I need to do usually is not usually I'm not only need to like report the vulnerability, but I also need to know how I discover the vulnerability. Then the developer will understand. Yeah. Is that answer your question? Sorry, I don't get you quite well.
My question is, so when you are going to show the developer, there are the vulnerabilities or there are the bug, right? You have to clearly steps on the steps to trigger the bug or trigger the vulnerabilities. For example, we first need to log in with a username and password. It could either be an admin or other.
Yeah, that
right?
Actually that is a must.
There is what?
That is a must for me. Yeah.
That
is a must. That is a must.
Oh, there's a must for you, right? Yeah, there's a few steps. So in this case, you can just, I'm not sure. So in this case, if we can find an automatic tool to automatically explore the vulnerabilities and then will just record all the process. For example, there's a huge number of the interactions, but only a few of them can trigger the bug. But we can just have a try until we find a sequence of interaction which can compromise the website. And then there's no need to bother. There's no need to manually record every steps. And the automated testing tool can just provide the scripts. And so the developers just need to click the scripts, and then the vulnerability, we can play the steps to review the vulnerabilities.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, actually it's possible because what Yijie has showed, right? She has just like record all the steps is manually. So yeah.
Yeah, I just feel that just a few these record replay tools is heavily relies on the human interactions. But the point is that of course the tool itself is quite technical and interesting. But I just suspect that it have limited power or capability to find the bug and the vulnerabilities. And find the vulnerabilities is basically what we really care about. And those tools, those recording tools, is just after all a facility.
Yes, I got what you mean. Quite interesting. I never think about that. Like all the confirmed bugs becomes a script, then you can play. Yeah, that's the idea, right?
Yeah, and also that is kind of fuzzing. So we just change the interaction sequence until we finally find the bug. Okay, so maybe we also need to involve some of the human effort. Maybe we can discuss more in our individual meetings. Okay, we can keep going on. Oh, by the way, is there any question here? I think the tool demonstrated by Yijie is supposed to be very straightforward. Okay, if there's no questions, let's keep going on.
Should we move on to Junbo's part?
Okay.
Oh, sorry. Actually, my part is quite similar to Yijie's part, but mine is more practical and have, I will use them sometimes. Yeah. Basically, let me just introduce a bit because share. Oh yeah, it's here. Okay, because in our daily life, right? We always heard about the Cilium and Helium. That's what data engineer will use these tools to write script and clone the data. But for me, I used Burp more because I'm a cybersecurity engineer. So now I'm going to show you how I do. So I have set up one website. This is a website. It's called DVWA. If you want to practice your security skills, you can try this. Yeah, this is hosted in the VM, and the IP is this IP, 232.128. But I have Bridge, so I can open in my host here. It's 232.128. Yeah, like this. And the login admin is admin and the password. Admin password. Yeah, then I can log in. Don't save.
So we haven't started the Burp suit, right?
I have started already. So this
started
is
already. So it's
no.
recordings or
not recording. So usually like because I'm doing the automatic scan for different kind of tools, Burp is inside my list. So when I was initiate a new scan, I will here it will do clone and audit for you. So I will copy down this URL, whatever you want to test. Yep, I will leave it here. But the problem is for the scanning, for the logging, because usually right, the logging is a bit complicated. Different users have different language have different ways to log in, and sometimes the password and the login are encrypted before transmitted. So if you use the first way, there is like highly chance you will fail. So you can use the second way. Second way is quite similar to what Yijie is doing. Like I need to use an extension. This is a browser embedded with inside the Burp suite. You can open it from here. It's from the target proxy. Oh yeah, open it from here. Open browser, and this browser has some extension. This is the extension. So if I start to recording, okay, it will open this one. I need to know the URL. Control C, Control V. I open it. Yeah, so you see this area is recorded. So I have admin. So I log in already. Then after logging, I can just stop recording. It will generate a script for me. So I can copy this script. This is different from Cilium and Helium because I know how it looks like. So I just create here. It says login, then the script is here. But this script can only be understood by Burp, and this is step by step. Yeah, and this is a kind of special. This is Burp's. Yeah. So like this,
I understand. So Burp will just
I
record the scripts or actions to log in a specific website. Hello?
Yeah, because if we do not, yeah, did I mute myself? No. If we did not log in, right? I mean, I can show you the result. This one is did not log in. Like it start to clone like at 10. Then after 10 seconds finish. After 1 minute, everything is done because it can only see this page. Only after you log in, then you can go further. Yeah. Then that's how these tools like solving this problem using the automated scripting. Yeah.
But once we have logged into the system, what kind of vulnerabilities can we find? Right. So, for example, if we start with the login,
really depends on
okay. So maybe, folks, if we are stuck on the login page, the only vulnerability we can try is that we want to test whether some brute force technique is allow us to log into the website. Am I right?
Not really. He will also check he will also like view the code here, see whether there are some like suspicious commands, and it will also check the framework version whether this is audit or not. Yeah. But what he can do all the interaction is within this page and this toolbox. That's it, because it cannot go further. If it is not authenticated, even he know the path behind this, then he cannot. He was not authorized to access that, so he will not get a valid response. Yeah, so the testing becomes meaningless.
So let me repeat my question. My question is that just for this login page, if we
Yep.
do not have the username and the password, what kind of vulnerabilities can we look into?
This one you can try the brute, maybe brute, not brute force, brute force. He will try some simple password comparison. But actually, if you not specify that right, he did not even know this is username and password. He will just treat this as two input box. Yeah, it's not as
So
smart
the
as that.
burp suit will not understand it is the username and the password.
Yes.
Mm.
And actually, that's why burp have this function. Yeah, I tried some open source tools, right? You even need to specify the variable name. You need to you need to look at the source code, then find this variable name. I think this one got name here. Yeah, we need to find the variable name. Here. We need to find this name. This tool does not have to be username and password. Sometimes people will put ID here. Some people need to put
I understand they
PSSWD.
have a variety. So that's why we want to, for rule of fence and the Yijie's work, we would like the computer vision to do the job.
True.
Right.
This is much better. Yeah.
So because in terms of the HTML code, it is huge variety. There are a huge variety of the opportunities to implement the same way, right? And this is just the login buttons. But what if we want to have the other credential taking intention? We want to extract the credential taking intentions, maybe the downloading intention. So you know that a lot of the ransomwares or the malware, other kinds of malwares are actually highlighted in terms of maybe the free license, the software, right? That it's cheating some people to download. Maybe in the future we still want to look into this kind of the cybersecurity problems. But for EGS project, we focus more on the phishing side.
Yes. And you see this one, because this one is built with PHP and HTML. Then if some other languages is like Node.js, Golang, then you will not even see this kind of code. You even don't know what this. Yeah, maybe you see it's just a script, and the content is taken from somewhere else. Then it's very hard to find the variable name, and you cannot even go further.
But in terms of browser, it is still an HTML, right?
Not have to be.
You're talking about the source code. The source code could be a very different version. But when the source code has been passed into HTML code and then transmitted into the browser, because the browser can only recognize the HTML code.
Is it? Because from my working experience, I always see a page, but when I check the source code, right, it does not make any sense. Yeah.
No. The point is that even in terms of PHP, it could be a very simple piece of code in terms from the source code level. But when the PHP server is passing the source code, it will interpret into an HTML, and all the information is just sent to the browser. Right. So the browser can only pass in the HTML code. But of course, if there are certain JavaScripts, the browser will first execute the JavaScript code to render the HTML or enrich the HTML. But anyway, what the user can see is just an HTML code.
Yeah. From my experience, I cannot agree. Actually, yeah, but I cannot explain why to now. Yeah.
Okay. So let's put aside the disagreement. Let's keep going on.
Okay. So that's all for my part. Yeah.
Is that all?
I will give back to Yijie. Yijie, do you have anything else to add on?
Can you show the scanning?
Yeah, I haven't seen the scanning part.
Scanning takes some time. Maybe I show you existing one. Yes. Okay, so I open the up. Okay. Oh. I use a pirate version, so sometimes you need some technique. So I need to open one, maybe this one next, start burp. So for this one is for the, this is the archive the scan. This is the OD checks. Everything is down, and yeah, then if you want to see the errors, you can see from here. Basically that's it.
Can you explain a little bit? So we're using the burp suite to scan the given website, right? And what is the scanning report? And what kind of vulnerabilities are they scanning?
Usually what I will do is like all the issues listed here, but some of them like is question mark, some of them is a mark, right? So here like I need to check all this, even this one I need to check. After I check, I will just right click, create a report. And of course I need to write another report because I cannot just like use the system generated report to them. Yeah.
So can you explain one or two vulnerabilities reported by Bursuit?
Oh, okay, sure, of course. So this one, right? Because all the website I'm scanning is for the education purposes, so they're quite straightforward. Like when you're doing the this is the let me open it. When you're doing the request response, it will highlight this one. It says like clear submission of password. Okay. And not really. This one maybe not a good example. Yeah, maybe this one, session in the token. So if session is in the token, then you can get a session very easily. Yeah. And password submitted by get method.
Yeah, so I think you need to also introduce a little bit about the background. So maybe I just ask someone, hey, Xiangling, do you know why is Xiangling there? Yeah, do you know why the password in the get message is actually a vulnerability?
So the attacker would know your password.
Attacker will have the password. And what if the post method? So do you know what the difference between the get and post methods in here in the form?
Get and post method.
Yeah, so here you can see in Junbo's screenshot. So there are the form in HTML, right? And the method mention get. And also we can have a method of the post. So do you know the difference?
So for post, you can submit a form to the server and get. I think you can only add some queries from the.
Get some what?
So for post, you can submit more messages
from basic understanding.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Junbo, any comments on that?
Actually, the difference is like for the get, right, the parameter will appear in the URL.
Oh yeah,
right. You know, right? After the
that is a knowledge I learned 10 years ago. So when we're actually trying to developing the website. So I think based on my memory, so get and post can transmit exactly the same number of parameters. Only the difference is that the user can see the parameter values if we didn't get, but they cannot see it in the post.
Post, they would just encode the message in the body, I think. In the body.
Yeah, I think in the package, some kind of the HTML, the HTTP package, right? So encoded this information there will not be the URL. So basically, I think from my perspective, they are equally unsafe. But for the naive user, the user can also do not bother to log into the body, but just logging to the URL, he can get all the messages, especially the username and password. Okay.
And sometimes people will put the cookie inside the URL. Then that's another problem. Then you can just get the URL. You can just get the session cookie, and you can manipulate the session cookie. Yeah. sometimes the session cookie is quite simple. Then you can just like decrypt it with the base 64. Then you can see the content. Sometimes the content may be containing some like access rights. Then you can just change your access rights, then encrypt it again, then put back again. Then you are like a kind of privilege escalation. Yeah.
So Burpsuit is just used to scan those general and the non-vulnerabilities, right?
Not really.
Okay.
So
there's supposed to be what I'm interested in is some domain specific vulnerabilities for giving this website. Maybe this vulnerability is just a specific to a specific website.
Sorry.
I mean, I'm interested in the vulnerabilities, which is not general, but specific to certain website.
Specified to certain
specific.
Oh yeah, I got what you mean. Yeah, I got what you mean. Okay. Okay. How to say? For example, this one is input return in response reflected. It is like you see actually the level is not red color. If this is red color, input reflect in response, which means whatever you put inside here, whatever you put inside here, it will reflect some part. It will reflect some part in the response. Here is a JSON data, and this one, so you can say that this is safe. But sometimes this part, the reflect part is inside the HTML body. Then there you can just change the text in the input in the request. Then later in the response body, you can just manipulate like truncate the HTML tag, put some XSS JavaScript. Yeah.
I'm not sure the explanation is very clear, but based on memory, so the problem, so there's a attack called the break attack. The break attack is if we want to compromise, so more towards the encrypted traffic. So if we want to decrypt kind of traffic, we still need to rely on some specific property. And if the request, if a keyword appear in a request, will also appear in the response, then there's, as far as I remember, there's a way to decrypt some encrypted traffic. So this is a very this is supposed to be very well known vulnerabilities, but this is still very general, right? So so here I would like to clarify my question. For Burp Pursuit, we can give him we can give Burp a few domain knowledges by manually maybe manually input the username and the password, so that the Burp Pursuit can bypass certain user interface. But when the Burp Pursuit enters or reach certain web page, what it scans are all the general vulnerabilities instead of the vulnerabilities specific to the website.
General, actually, specific general.
So think about it. So we can let's talk about the issues in a more straightforward way. So the more Burp Pursuit can explore or look for or find more vulnerabilities as long as it can access more number of web pages. Right. So once it reaches a web page, it's just to try all the rule to scan the web page, and it will just have a report for a certain web page. And if clicking some certain buttons, it will reach another web page, and it will apply the same number of rules or heuristics on the new web page. So on and so forth, it will try to given a vulnerability report, and how comprehensive or how complete the report is highly depends on how many web pages Burp Pursuit can explore.
Yes.
And is there a heuristic for Burp Pursuit to explore on as many as web pages?
For the there are two. Those are two. I think these are two problems. For the first one, what a crawler can do is usually just went through every element of the web page. For example, if this is an input box, then it will try everything it can do. For example, like put in SQL injection for access injection payload there. But if this is a button or a link, then it will like like just click, sometimes like simulating click and then get the redirect response in another page and perform the same thing again. Then for me, right, as a penetration test, right, this is really something crawler cannot do, because I will do some dictionary attack to try to discover all the possible path. Yeah, but the crawler will only do whatever it can see. So if, for example, like if different if the system has,
so I have to interrupt you. So it's better we can have a slice, but anyway, this presentation is more for the practical,
yep.
for practice. So my question is that, can you clarify your dictionary attack? So if I understand, you can correct me if I'm wrong. So the so-called dictionary attack is that we would like to find as many valid paths as possible in the website, right? So for example, given a website like the NUS.com, and we would like to see how many web pages are there in the NUS.com website. And by right, the search space is supposed to be huge, because any combination of correct characters is able to explore a new path. However, if you are using a non or frequently used dictionary, we might speed up the process. Is that the process? Is that process the dictionary attack you mean?
Yes, but the word list is super huge. It's very famous. It's called rockq.txt. Yeah, it's a 100 megabytes pure text-based word list. Yeah.
So they have a problem. If the word list is so huge, it will still influence your attack, right? Influence your attack efficiency.
Of course. Yeah.
And if I'm a website, if I'm a security engineer, so I would like to go through all the word list in the dictionary and find a different name.
We also have some like common tools. It really depends on how important this system it is. Yeah, if it's not that kind of important, we will just run a small list. But this small is not as small as you think, lah. It's still quite big, but compared to
no. My question is, suppose I have already got the word list, right?
Yes,
the word list could be a commonly used word like image, path, or admin, right? So these kind of very common folders. So in this case, and I would like to, what I would do to avoid such a dictionary attack is just to change a different name, which is not in your list.
Yeah, and you can randomize your name. It's something like make up with alphabet, like with no rules. Yeah, it's like system generated password. Oh, actually, the Burp have this too, but he will not like launch this tool during the automatically scan. It's called discover content. So you can config here. You can use a file. If you don't use a file, it has a built-in file there. Then you can choose to recursive, because after you find one file, you want to go further, and he will do this again. But if you choose this one, like it's endless. So usually I will uncheck this, and this, and just let session to run.
Okay, so my last question here is that, so maybe my question is too specific today. My last question is that in this website, giving the burp suit. So when we want to test the burp using burp to have the dictionary attack, and will call things on ethnic issue. So given the website like NUS.com, and then we will try to crawl all its web page, right? And you know that sometimes the point is that if we are following the hyperlinks, if the crawlers follow the hyperlinks, we can just find the web pages NUS would like us to see.
Yes.
There are still a few web pages. It exists. It is available, but we cannot access them through hyperlinks, because these links are specifically maintained for the internal use.
Yes.
Right? It is possible. So, but if we want to find those kind of paths, whether it will cause an ethnic issue, because after all, it is kind of penetration testing.
Sorry, what's the question?
The question is that So if we want to find this kind of the available while unknown paths based on the dictionary attack,
Yes.
we still need to use kind of the brute force way to do that, right?
Brute force is the first thing should come to your mind, and you can do it via data gathering as well. Sometimes people will put that in the source code file. Like when you view the page source, it was there. And sometimes you can find it in the robot.txt. Yeah. That's the other two very reliable source where you can find. Then I think that's it. Like, yeah. Actually, this is a very good question because I also did some.
So sorry for interrupting.
Okay, sure.
My question is about the SNX issue of penetration testing. So that means if we want to find some unknown but available paths in the website, we have to try, right? So that's basically a penetration testing.
Yes.
Is that an ethnic issue, or is that legal?
That one legal or not legal? Actually, it does not matter. But the system will detect.
Does it matter? It actually really matters, I think.
Because
so maybe so is this all your presentation, right? So this is basically all your presentation.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, I can just raise a story on when we run the crawlers in NUS. So basically, our server is blocked by NUS because some vendors have complained to NUS, saying that some server inside NUS are trying to conduct penetration testing. But all what we do is just to click the hyperlinks. But the point is that we have to repetitively visit this website. So the server admins or administrators observe such a phenomena and raise the issue to NUS to ask NUS to stop doing that.
Actually, is that true? Probably. Actually, I can share one thing with you. I never told you before. When I was working in PwC, I'm the penetration tester for NUS. Yeah. So actually, I did all these things.
No, you are attacking NUS, right?
Yeah,
so the NUS is also quite fine to being attacked. But if the server from NUS to attack some other vendor,
of course, cannot.
Right.
You will. I think the police will come to you.
Yeah, so that's the problem. Okay, so anyway, we find that the dictionary attack is kind of the first, it still have its limitation of the efficiency, and if the repetitions are the number of repetitions are too huge or too large, it will also raise alert of the server administrators, right? But anyway, from these tools, I see that's a huge number of potential to be extended. And there's a lot of way, maybe we start from the computer vision point of view to understand how to explore more web pages. Maybe we can discriminate web pages based on their potential of vulnerabilities, right? So they have huge number of ways to look into it. But anyway, it's quite good. And also I think the facility provided by the commercial tools are really impressive. So not only from the but not only for the bug suite, even for Selenium IDE, it is also quite impressive.
Yeah.
And hopefully you can later build upon these facilities. We can definitely to achieve something more impressive.
Yeah. Actually, I can share with you the function I showed you just now. This one. Where is a browser? Just now the proxy open browser. Yeah. Just actually this one. This one I just saw it like since August this year. Yeah. Before that, there's no such function. Yeah, so everything is developing super fast.
Yeah, I think the browser extension is a very interesting way to look into it. Okay, thanks, Junbo. And I have finished all my questions. Is there any questions for Junbo and Yijie for their presentations? And overall, I think it is a simple one, but anyway, it is good to learn. Of course, I would appreciate it if you can provide a more sophisticated function there. Okay, if there's no questions, maybe we'll call it the end for today's presentation.